Okay, can I have a moment of silent meditation and pledge to the flag? Thank you. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. It is 10:05, April 26. All three county commissioners here, and we will start with consents and approval. County administrator.
Morning.
Morning.
Morning, Renee.
Morning.
We have 9 exonerations for $2,338.45. Minutes for April 19th, 2023. Vouchers, General County, $173,694.58. 911, $380.65. Chestnut Ridge Park, $2,746.55. Camp Muffley, $542.23. Mason-Dixon Park, $1,220.74. Mon County Center, $5,414.54. Payroll, $995,369.85. Purchasing card vouchers, General County, $6,423.10. 911, $438.88. Chestnut Ridge Park, $4,000. Oh, I missed home confinement. Home confinement, $28. Chestnut Ridge Park, $4,091.89. Recreation levy, $31,052. Assessor's valuation, $95.45 for a voucher total of $1,190,477.98. We have budget revisions for in-house approval for the general fund, for the county commission and other buildings capital projects. On the agenda, it was listed, the county commission was listed under state approval, but it was actually only in-house approval, so that is a correction. State approval, general fund, prosecuting attorney, jail reimbursable, regional jail, central garage, day report center, parks, and human resources. Position vacancies for boards and authorities are listed on the county website. Fiduciary orders for April 26, 2023.
Move to approve consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Proper moved second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
You also have a letter for the estate of George D. Manellis from Attorney Keith Pappas. I think he is looking for a trustee in the estate.
Right.
He's got some feelers out to different banks, attorneys, CPAs, and so he's just keeping you apprised of that.
Okay, and that's what it said. Correct. Okay, moving on to introduction of new employees. Youth Services Center again. Lindsay Brooks, relief worker, part-time, hopefully.
Oh, I gotta find the letter. Okay. Lindsay Brooks, part-time relief worker, on-call basis, not eligible for benefits. Starting rate is $14.40 per hour, and her first day of employment would be May the 2nd, 2023.
Move to approve the position as presented.
Second.
Proper moving second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Do we have any other?
No, that's all.
Okay. Seeing none, we will have comments from the public. Feel free to stand up, state your name, address, and you'll have 3 to 4 minutes. Thank you.
My name is Jason Charles. I'm known by no other name. I have no address to provide for you, for my address or my home was taken from me when I was unlawfully incarcerated. Today I'm here to speak about bike safety. There is no regulation on bicycles. The adaptation of the e-bike has introduced enforcement, but you see the word is different. Different word, different meaning, specific, unique. That is the law. Laws for an apple do not apply to a rock. There is no inspection on a bike. If one does not have brakes, one quickly learns of the situation of their own concern out of their own safety, remedies the problem. Friendly reminder, the Supreme Court has ruled that there is no state enforcement officer obligated to protect or safeguard a man or a woman. This lack of regulation requiring the bike to be in peak mechanical excellence and for the bicyclist to be trained in some sort of basic requirement as their operator is too complicated, it is too restricted, it is too preventative, or it is just that there is not that much concern for public safety. After all, it is only a bike. What harm can it cause to others? Compared to cars, it only makes sense. My suggestion is that they don't because they can't. I do not know the true reason why there is no requirement for a man to get permission to travel by bicycle. The fact is that the motor of a bicyclist or bicycle is the man. And the DMV does not have the legal authority to regulate a man, and therefore no ability to regulate the power source of the bicycle. In my humble opinion, the real reason enforced compliance cannot be implemented to the bicyclist is just that. Now, the city did have an ordinance for the bicyclist to wear a helmet. Today, that ordinance, if it is still in accordance with the law, or as they say, on the books, I have laws that are not only in a book, but also written on my heart. The helmet ordinance is not enforced to the extent that it was when it was first introduced. Many reasons would be cited for the lack of enforcement, perhaps not worth the time of the officer. I would contend that the public service campaign for the education or preventable bodily harm is more successful in safeguarding the public than the threat of fees and fines by law enforcement. Not so with, say, the seatbelt safety. Again, friendly reminder, the Supreme Court ruling. See, the fine for the licensed persons not to wear the non-regulated feature of the automobile per DMV regulations. Again, your safety is not the concern of the law. It is the concern of your harm to others, and it should be your personal concern to prevent the burden one has on the community. If one harms another, you have failed to love. Wear the helmet. If you fall and prevent harm, you may save a burdensome hospital surgery. If you don't wear the helmet and you fall and do not prevent head trauma, then you should get the bill. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Forced compliance has this psychological component of defiance of authority. It is in every one of us. It is the sin nature. Do not eat from that tree. Just as one person could not possibly know nor comply with every code, statute, or regulation, have you ever seen the printed tax code, some 4,000 pages? That is just taxes. One could be in violation of a traffic infraction if they simply had something hanging from their rearview mirror. Point being, it is not only impossible to know all the rules, but it's also impossible to follow them without a violation. The Bible is on average 1,200 pages. The same point is made. The law was given to Moses. Man came to the conclusion that it is impossible to obey the perfect law, and so Jesus came to fulfill the law. He who knew no sin took on the sin of the world, atoned for the natural sin, and to all who put their faith in him will be saved from the wrath to come. As a bicyclist, I am often cursed at, told to get out of the way, mocked for my choice of travel. Once I was told to get onto the sidewalk by an aggravated driver. Clearly, he did not know the rules. His lack of knowledge frustrated him. According to the rules, the driver must yield to the cyclist. They may want to confine me to my lane, but I assure you, according to the authority, I have the right of way. If there is a pothole in my way and I avoid it, it is against the rules for you to cause me harm.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak? I do want to acknowledge we do have Brian Butcher here, who just won the 7th Ward City Council. Did you want to say anything?
I can if you want.
Yes, please, come on down.
You've elected official session.
Okay, well, I'm sorry.
Go
I
ahead.
guess we could, well, okay. Go ahead.
If you don't, I don't.
No, go right ahead.
I'm here to talk to you guys about Xfinity too later on.
Okay.
Yeah, one last night. And I appreciate everybody who came out and voted. I look forward to working with all you guys. Thanks for acknowledging me, Tom.
Okay.
You guys have a good meeting. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Brian.
Okay. Okay. Seeing no one else, we will look at, I do want to mention that we do have Alex Hall here and Tim Fitchett here. I didn't know if you were here to speak or just to get educated. Okay, thank you. And we do appreciate Tim for coming back and working with Alex, for training. So I appreciate that. Okay, Colin Kuhn grants.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
I have the grant contract for the grant contract agreement for the VOCA grant. We were awarded $43,762, so you'll need to sign that. There's a resolution that reads, "The Commission of Monongalia County met on Wednesday, April 26, 2023, with a quorum present and passed the following resolution. Be it resolved that the Commission hereby authorizes Thomas C. Bloom, President of the Monongalia County Commission, to act on its behalf to enter into a contractual agreement with the Division of Administrative Services, Justice and Community Services Section to receive and administer grant funds pursuant to the provisions of the Victims of Crime Act grant program." Sorry. So in addition to the grant contract that you will need to sign, there's also the standard conditions and assurances. There are the federal standard conditions and assurances, certifications regarding lobbying, equal employment opportunity plan, and then also a schedule of payments.
Move that we approve the grant documents as presented.
Second.
Bob moving second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Passes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Geez. Okay. Correspondence. Third quarter levy report received from the Bow Park. And that's just stated. And then fiscal 22 audit received from Perry and Associates.
At the beginning of April, you all approved management representation letter, post-audit request form if you wanted a after audit conference, and some other forms. This is the actual finalized audit after you've approved those other documents.
Okay. And I would like to notice, it reminds me of, we need to follow up with the auditor's office.
Yes.
In our efforts we're going to try to move our audit back to the auditor's office. Apparently we don't have to utilize our own sources. We can pay the auditor's office. And the reason we're interested in doing that is because the commercial auditors, the auditors that we're using that are bidding on doing our work are at a loss when it comes to Monongalia County in terms of how we handle our TIF and STIF district. So they account for all that liability on our books, but none of that liability is the responsibility of county government. We structure those bonds so that the developer is ultimately responsible if those bonds aren't paid. So we have this huge liability on our books and no corresponding revenue. So we've talked to the auditor's office about that, and we're in the process of working through a solution that he can provide guidance. But one of the interim solutions we talked about was if we bring them back to during our audit, then they can more adequately address those issues.
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, the auditor suggested, well, we'll just put the revenue on. Well, you can't put the revenue on because you're only going to put 1 year on. So you have 30 years worth of debt and 1 year worth of revenue. Yeah, that's a little better, but it's still lopsided, and it doesn't adequately express where we're at as a county. So it's caused us some concern in regards to our rating. And that costs us more money whenever our rating goes down. So obviously our rating is still very strong for this county, but it does cause some concern that it could cause some future downward action. So we're just trying to be proactive and take care of that. So anyhow, I just wanted to take the opportunity to publicly mention that we are doing that and working with the auditor's office to hopefully move the next audit over to the auditors, back to the auditor's office. That's all.
Okay.
Long statement for just correspondence, but
It's all right. Do we have any other correspondence?
No, sir.
Okay.
I don't.
Seeing none, going for unfinished business. There is none. Go to new business. Consideration to approve a request by CASA for Kids in Mon and Preston counties for use of the courthouse square for Child Abuse Awareness Month event, April 28th.
move to approve the request as presented.
Second.
Pop moving second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Consideration of appointments to the Mon County Development Authority. We should have some.
Yeah, so a while back, you actually did receive a letter from Marcus Eslak. Also, Ed Cosner is wanting to be reappointed, Barry Palais. Those terms would have expired on May the 5th. Those are all at-large positions. And then Commissioner Sikora actually sits on the Development Authority for the County Commission, and Kim Haas as the city manager for the city of Morgantown. These appointments need to be renewed. It's an ongoing open call for applications, and we typically don't receive any, we haven't. So if you all want to reappoint these folks, this has all been vetted by Russ Rogerson at the Development Authority.
Correct.
Yeah, I think with our qualified candidates, they show up to the meeting, so, and they're willing to participate and they've been vetted, so I'd move that we approve them.
I'd
as,
second that.
appointed.
Properly moved in second. All those in favor say aye.
And just for, just to confirm, Granville representatives are here. We still have a seat that sits open on the Development Authority that's reserved for Granville. You guys currently do not have someone that's been appointed to sit on the Development Authority. So if you'd like to take advantage of that, we certainly would welcome your participation. Same thing with Westover. Westover and Star City also built. Westover, Davy Johnson was the representative when he finished his term as mayor. No one was ever reappointed, and we've brought that to Bob Lucci's attention. So it still sits unattended. And then same thing with Star City. When Dominic Claudio moved off of Star City Council, they have yet to replace him. So we have 3 of our 5 municipalities not represented on the Development Authority, so we'd certainly appreciate your participation.
Blacksville as well.
And yeah, if you count Blacksville too, I keep thinking I got MMPO and
Yeah.
Development Authorities mixed up because Joe represents the Blacksville area on MMPO. But yes, so we also have some Morgantown is really the only representative. So we'd like to have more participation, and we do have one at-large position. We like to keep kind of one open. We've been looking at our membership and trying to make sure that we have all different types of capabilities represented. Like, we don't want to have Development Authority of 15 bankers, and so we've been, a couple years ago we added some construction expertise by adding Matt Bourne from March Weston, and he's been wonderful, especially on our Richwood project. So we're always trying to make sure that we fill it with the capabilities that we need to bring the most the diverse skill set to the table. So anyhow, we do have that. I thought I'd mention that since it came up. So anyhow, sorry, Tom.
No, that's all right. Do we have any other new business? Okay.
Did we vote on that?
No.
We didn't vote on that.
I thought we did, but okay.
Just to be clear.
It was properly moved in second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I thought we did, and then, but
Just to
okay.
make sure.
Yeah, that, now we
You didn't.
can conclude. Okay. Is there any other new business?
No.
No, okay. Moving on, reports from elected officials and department supervisors. Oh, we have 2. This is the first time we've ever had 2 actually stand up at the same time. This is great. Hello, Mark.
Mine will be shorter than yours, Mayor.
So this is age over beauty.
Just to make our announcement, we've started our field work for the 24 tax year. So just announced, we've just finished Star City, and staff are now out in 6th and 7th Ward. And we'll soon, and probably the end of this week or first next week, we'll be in 2nd Ward. So I just wanted to bring that out.
Great.
Okay.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, Mark.
Mayor?
I'll be just as short. I just wanted to report that out of the DOH meeting
Yes.
last week, by the time I got back to the office about 3:30, I got a response from Matthew Skiles from Charleston, basically saying that neither intersection is within the DOH right-of-way. I think they're also talking about Walmart, and the city does not need approval or a permit from the DOH to proceed. And that was from Matthew Skiles on Wednesday. And then on Thursday morning, I got a message from Fred Shockery. As per discussion with the central office, neither intersection is within DOH right-of-way, and the city does not need approval or permit from the DOH to proceed. So we have notified our engineering Potesta. Matthew Skiles had some comments attached to his, but we have forwarded those. Potesta doesn't think that that's anything that French Engineering hasn't already looked at, so we are proceeding.
Great.
Good.
Yeah, and could you send that to the developer?
No, I sent it to you.
Could you just send it to
Did you
the,
get both those emails?
No, I didn't.
Really?
No.
I sent those both to you.
Okay, I will look again.
well, just in case, Patty, could you
Yeah.
send them, resend them, just make sure you
Okay.
send
But I
it to the
got
developer,
one,
because
but
he's the one that,
You didn't get both of them?
No.
he's the one that actually requested that, so if you
I don't
forward that.
have his information.
Huh?
Well, if you
If you
can.
send it to
I'll just send
Renetta,
it to
Send it to Renetta again,
Okay.
yeah.
All
I,
right.
yeah, for some reason it
send
did
to
not
Renetta,
show
it won't
up.
get lost, or,
Yeah.
and she'll make sure to send them on.
No,
Thank you.
okay, thank you, well, that's good news. Any other elected officials or department supervisors? Okay, seeing none, we will have reports from county commissioners. Sean?
Since our last meeting, it's been fairly busy. Last Wednesday after our meeting, I did attend a reception. Actually, Commissioner Bloom and I both did a picture shoot, and Mayor
Yes.
Lewis and Latina did a picture shoot for Morgantown magazine, and then I attended a reception for J.B. McCuskey. And then I got out of that in time to be able to make the Mon County track meet that was out at Milan Park. So I believe that's the middle school events. I'm always interested in these middle school events because when the track first opened up, we were told there wasn't going to be middle school events there, and I hate to see that beautiful facility and not see the younger kids get a chance to compete in it. So it was wonderful. It was a beautiful afternoon. It was sunny out until it got dark, and it was pretty cold. But seeing that place packed. And I had a number of people come up to me and just say what a beautiful facility it is. So, and I believe the Mon County Championships are next Wednesday, so people get a chance to see. That meet last week had representatives from Preston County, so we had Mon and Preston County there. Friday, I had staff reports, and then I participated in the Eastwood Elementary Earth Day celebration. And I want to congratulate Winnie Wagoner, who actually was the winning Earth Day poster contribution, which got put on the backs of T-shirts, and I believe is all fourth graders got a copy, got one of those T-shirts, which we actually handed out at the assembly. And then after that, I had a tag up with the broadband team. Saturday, I went to Clay Battelle for the annual FFA ham, bacon, and egg sale. I had a letter that was written to me by Kirsten Moore from that area that asked me to attend, and I was going to be there anyhow, but I made sure I sought out, and I ended up buying some eggs from her. The eggs still at this, they're a little pricey, but I know the way the economy is. I know everybody jokes about eggs being pretty expensive. These ones are pretty good, but it's the kids' effort that's important. And I did that, and I bought some bacon. But Joe Stout was there with me, along with former Commissioner Hawkins. So I'm just glad to see. It's really encouraging to see the work that these kids put on and then do their part to try to sell their products. Saturday was Earth Day. I did do my part and plant a tree on Earth Day, which I'm very proud of. Sunday, I had the pleasure of going to Buchanan to Wesleyan's annual award ceremony, and my daughter received 2 awards. One for Outstanding BS in Physics Award. And everybody looks at me and say that's where she gets the math from me, but I don't know if I could ever receive a degree in physics, but she's the top of her class at Wesleyan in physics, so I'm pretty proud of her. And then she also won a Senior Academic and Leadership Award for her overall leadership in her sorority and her academic accomplishments, so I couldn't be more proud. Yesterday we had an HR tag up. The administrator and I had a tag up with our HR team, and it was very, very productive. And then I had a broadband call after that with a smaller portion of my broadband team. Today's regular day, and as I mentioned, there's a track meet this afternoon if anybody wants to go out and watch the middle schoolers in competition. Tomorrow is the MAP dinner. Morgantown Area Partnership, their annual dinner. And it looks from all last year was the first year back after COVID, so I hope this year should be bigger and better. Friday we have staff reports, and I want to remind everybody that on Tuesday we have the legislative wrap-up that's also being put on by MAP. Congratulations to Brian. Brian, you are my ward representative, so I look forward to continuing to work with you in areas that affect all of Morgantown, and in particular the ward that we live in. So congratulations. And I want to note that in the budget revisions, we did do a $400,000 increase to our regional jail bill. So this isn't the bill. The bills weren't supposed to go up yet. They're supposed to go up next year about 12% because of the per diem increase. That increase had been stayed this year, so it's certainly disheartening to see our jail bill now. Our budget is over $2.4 million, which is as high as I can remember it. So we really need to try to refocus our efforts on what's causing that and see if we can continue our efforts to drive those costs down, because they're going to go nothing but up in the next years. So I imagine that's going to be a big conversation in the next year as far as how we can try to control those costs. That's all I had. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just a couple of things. We had Commissioner Bloom and I and our administrator had a nice meeting with our parks director last week. There's a lot of updates and fun things going on at the park. The bluebells are in bloom at Mason-Dixon Park. It's definitely worth going out there and taking a walk down the trail. It's really quite something to see. And we've got a lot of improvements in uniformity going in with 3 parks, and pool's getting geared up. I think it opens sometime around Memorial Day or maybe the weekend before. And so I encourage anyone to go out and explore our parks as they are really coming around. So we appreciate all the efforts by our staff out there. Had a board meeting yesterday for Mon Community Resources, owns the building at where the Ramada Inn was, the site of Hazel's House of Hope. A lot of interesting projects going on there as well, some expansion and some build-outs. And things are starting to come together up there. There's a little smooth out a little bit, and hopefully we keep moving forward with that. It's a worthwhile project, and a lot of people are getting the help that they need up there. So that's all I've got.
Okay. As you mentioned about the track, I went up to represent the County Commission Friday night for the Mountaineer Classic, which is becoming an amazing event with college and high school students. And while I was there, we were able to get a picture of 5 of the All-Americans who were in the 1970s, who were there, who really started the entire movement to put WVU on the map for track. Also, I got to see both MHS and UHS runners, especially the mile and 2 mile, and I don't think the public really understands the quality of our running and track program, and that also says a lot for the coaches. And I did get to see Irene Riggs run probably her last race there, but she is running with 4 members of the Morgantown High 4x800 at the Penn Relays tomorrow night, and I think just to meet the qualifications is unbelievable. That's a national event and they qualify for it, so that should be very exciting. Again, congratulations to those who won and actually those who ran. It's very difficult to run, and everyone looks like, oh, it's real easy to run, whether it's a city council or a county commission, but you put yourself out there, and unfortunately you get a lot of positive and you get a lot of trolls, and it truly is unfortunate. But I did talk with Brian, and one of the things we are going to talk about is seeing about getting all the cities in the county together to discuss how to move forward with the DOH. We did have our meeting with the DOH. I appreciate them coming, but I also want to state that I was very disappointed that we didn't have a lot of answers to our questions. And in fact, we had a lot of grayish areas that each whether it was Granville or Morgantown talking about East Brockway or us talking about some of the intersections, there just wasn't a lot of answers. But hopefully, I think our relationship locally is excellent. But my concern, and I will say this, is when you talk to the state DOH, they say, work through the local DOH. And we do work through the local DOH, but they're not getting the information from the state. So hopefully we can move forward on that. But I think maybe all meeting together again might be something that we might want to do and then work with our local representatives. But with that, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
We be gone.